While enjoying my morning coffee, a new email caught my attention. It was a forwarded message that had bounced back due to an error. Attached to it was a detailed schedule for my daughter's wedding, complete with a guest list. I combed through the document and found no mention of my name, not even in a minor note. I wasn't simply excluded. I was rendered invisible. For months, my wife Laura and our daughter Sophie had been whispering behind closed doors, their conversations shifting abruptly whenever I entered the room. I had brushed it off, assuming it was just pre-wedding stress. I couldn't have been more wrong. That evening, I brought it up. Laura let out a heavy sigh, rubbing her temples as if my concern was an inconvenience. Sophie dismissed me with an exaggerated roll of her eyes. "It's just a wedding, Dad. You're overreacting," she said. Laura quickly echoed her sentiment. "You're blowing this way out of proportion." Whenever someone insists you're overreacting, it's usually a way to dismiss your pain and silence you. I had been there for Sophie every step of her 24 years, paying for her education, mending her heartaches, providing for her dreams, and now I was cast aside like I had never mattered. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. Instead, I quietly booked a flight. 3 days before the wedding, I found myself across the world, sitting by the sea as the endless blue horizon blurred into the sky. My phone buzzed constantly. Laura, Sophie, and even her fiancé Mark tried calling. They had no idea what was truly unraveling. Laura and I had been married for 26 years, and through that time, I learned that betrayal rarely hits like a thunderclap. It's more often a slow drip, a silent erosion of trust. I had ignored the signs for too long. Laura's furtive calls, the newly set passwords on her phone, the secretive conversations with Sophie that ended abruptly when I appeared. At first, I blamed it on wedding chaos. But their expressions told another story: irritation, disdain, like I was a guest overstaying my welcome in my own home. And then came the moment that confirmed everything. A glance at Laura's bank statement showed a staggering 6-figure withdrawal, straight from my personal savings. The money I had painstakingly saved for Sophie's future was simply gone. I didn't confront Laura about it. I didn't utter a word. Instead, I allowed her to believe I was oblivious. That was the first move in my plan. No invitation came. No polite phone call. Only silence. That was the decision they made. I had made mine too, to teach them the true weight of loss. I sat on the hotel balcony, a glass of whiskey in hand, as the waves pounded against the rocks below. My phone lit up again and again. Laura, Sophie, Mark, desperate to reach me. I let it ring. When I finally answered, Sophie's voice was frantic. "Dad, where are you? Are you on vacation?" I replied with chilling calmness. "You need to come back home," she said. There was a pause, a sharp inhale, then I heard Laura's panicked voice shouting in the background. "Everything's gone." A small, knowing smile crossed my face. They had no idea how much I had already taken. Revenge isn't fueled by rage. Rage is sloppy and uncontrolled. True revenge is methodical, deliberate, and exact. I had spent months preparing. First, the finances. Laura thought she was clever, transferring my funds into a secret account. She never realized I had already moved the money back weeks prior and discreetly liquidated our joint assets. Second, the house. While Laura was preoccupied, I had quietly sold my share of the property. When she made that massive withdrawal, I triggered a prenuptial clause that protected me against financial betrayal. The house, every last inch of it, legally belonged to me. And the final move, the wedding venue. Laura had foolishly signed the extravagant, members-only estate contract under my name, thinking it would secure the perfect wedding day. 3 days before the ceremony, I canceled the booking. The 6-figure deposit was non-refundable. It disappeared along with their dream event. So, when Sophie tearfully called me, it was because she stood in a lavish, empty venue, surrounded by confused guests. The caterers never showed. The florists never delivered. The dream wedding Laura and Sophie so meticulously planned crumbled before their eyes. And they had no one to blame but themselves. 2 days later, I returned home. unlocking the front door that was still legally mine. Laura stood in the middle of the now empty living room. The furniture was gone, the electricity had been cut, and she looked broken, swollen-eyed and hollow. "Why?" she whispered. I stepped closer, speaking low and steady. "You erased me first." A choked sob escaped her. "I never thought you'd fight back." I tilted my head slightly. "That was your mistake." Sophie stormed down the stairs, her face red with anger. "Dad, how could you?" she cried. I turned to her calmly. "How could I?" "Sophie, I paid for your schooling, your car, your life, and you couldn't even find it in your heart to invite me to your wedding." Her mouth opened, but no words came out. I gave them my final words. "Every choice has a consequence. You and your mother made yours. Now you live with them." The next day, Laura packed her things and left. Shortly after, Sophie moved out too. I later heard that she and Mark rushed to the courthouse for a quiet, unceremonious wedding. No dress, no flowers, no grand reception. Laura tried to reach out. She called repeatedly, pleading for forgiveness. I never answered. As for me, I lived on and I lived well. Revenge wasn't about hatred. It was about setting the scales back to balance. I had simply taken back what was always mine.